Hello, my name is Lewis and welcome to Gathering the Magic. Today we're looking at a $50 budget deck tech for Bruenor Battlehammer. Bruenor is a 5/3 dwarf Boros warrior that says each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it, and you can pay 0 rather than the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn. So this deck is going to have tons of pro-equip creatures, huge equipment that we'll equip for free thanks to Bruno, and we will smash our way to victory. First off, as we always do, we're looking at the ramp, which in Boros, we don't have that much. First off, we have Boros Signet and Boros Cluestone to ramp and potentially draw us a card. We also have Boros Locket to ramp or sack to draw 2 cards, and Talisman of Conviction to give us some more Boros options. Next we have Mind Stone and Sisay's Ring to give us some good ramp and potential card draw. We also have Knight of the White Orchid. Extra spice as that first strike option could be great if we get some deadly equipment onto it, but this Human Knight allows you to play an extra planes if one of your opponents has more lands than you. We also have Boreas Charger with flying. Again, it could be another good creature to get some equipment on that says when it leaves the battlefield, you choose an opponent who controls more lands than you, then you search for an amount of planes equal to the difference, pop one on the battlefield and the rest into your hand. That is some tasty ramp. And finally, of course, we have Soul Ring, because Soul Ring. Before we get onto the pro equipment creatures, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for all things MTG. I'll say it just one more time, 1,000 subs before August and I will get a prickly marmoset tattoo, because for some reason I agreed to it and I always keep my word.
Lannister always pays his debts.
As we just said, now we're looking at all of those pro-equipped creatures to really synergize down with Bruenor. First here we have Cole the Forge Master that says if a non-token creature you control that dies was equipped, you return it to your hand, and creature tokens you have that are equipped get +1/+1. We also have Rayav Master Smith that gives your equipped attacking creatures double strike, which is so deadly. Next up we have Shram Senior Edificer, a mono white commander favourite. He'll be giving us that card draw whenever we play an equipment spell. And we have Danither Capuchin Paragon, a first strike vigilant lifelink knight that reduces the cost of equipment spells by 1, which is amazing for Bruno. Continuing to focus on card draw pro equipped creatures, we've got Stonehaven Outfitter that gives equipped creatures +1/+1, and whenever an equipped creature you control dies, you draw a card. And there's Akiri Fearless Voyager that says whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. You can also pay a planes to unattach an equipment and give that creature indestructible until the end of turn, which is huge if you want to stop some creatures from getting sent to the graveyard. For the next pro-equipped creatures we have Arden Intrepid Archaeologists that says at the start of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of equipment to target permanent or player, really beef up a creature. We also have Wyleth Soul of Steel that says when it attacks, draw a card for each equipment attached to it. The potential for card draw from these creatures is so strong. On to token creators, we have Kemba Car Regent that says at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 white cat creature token for each equipment attached to Kemba, and we also have Valduk Keeper of the Flame. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you create a 3/1 elemental with trample and haste for each equipment on Valduk, which are then exiled at the next end step, so those tokens are really there to fight. Next we have Armoured Skyhunter, a flying cat knight that says when it attacks you look at the top 6 cards of your library, you may then put an equipment from among them onto the battlefield and attach it straight onto a creature you control. If you're getting one of those expensive to pay equipment, you're straight onto a winner here. Similarly we have Core Outfitter that ETBs and allows you to put an equipment you control onto one of your creatures. We have Goblin Gavalier, a trample goblin that gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it, and Champion of the Flame, another trample-loving equipment boy that gets +2/+2 for each equipment attached to it. On to the last bunch here, we have Brass Squire to tap and give you the chance to move around some equipment, and Fervent Champion that has first strike and haste and makes equipment cost 3 cheaper if you want to stick some of that equipment onto Fervent Champion. For a 1-drop, that is actually massive. Next we have Odric Lunarch Marshal that at the beginning of combat spreads all of your abilities onto all of your creatures, and with plenty of equipment giving those creatures abilities, this will be a key cog in this deck. We also have Bronze Guardian with double strike, ward, and its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Spoiler, it will be lots. And lastly we have Stonehewer Giant, one of the priciest cards in this deck, and rightfully so. For 1 in a plains, you can tap him to search for an equipment, put it onto the field and attach it to a creature you control. That is just mind-blowingly good. And we have Nahiri, Heir of Ancients, to create some warriors and attach equipment to them, potentially fetch out some equipment, or deal damage to a creature or planeswalker equal to twice the amount of artifacts you control. Speaking of artifacts, now we're looking at all the crazy equipment we'll be rocking in this powerhouse of a deck. First we have Colossus Hammer, because it gives a creature +10/+10, and we've already got plenty of ways to attach this to a creature for either free or a lot cheaper. We also have Blackblade Reforged that gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Next up we have Haunted Cloak to give a creature Vigilance, Trample and Haste, and Lockstone Warhammer to give a creature Trample and Lifelink. Next up we have Maul of the Skyclaves to give a creature +2/+2, Flying, First Strike, and you can initially attach it to something for free. We also have Seraphic Greatsword to also give a creature +2/+2. It additionally gives you an attacking +4/+4 angel if you attack a player with the most or tied for the most life. Now that is angelic. We have Whaddup Battlehorns to give a creature trample and it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, and Ring of Thune to give equipped creature vigilance, and at the beginning of your upkeep you can put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature if it's white. There is also Mask of Memory to help you draw 2 cards and discard 1 when target creature deals combat damage, and Prying Blade to beef up target creature a tiny bit and create you treasure tokens when that combat damage goes through. We have Goldvein Pick to again create those treasure tokens when you deal combat damage, and Explorer's Scope that says when equipped creature attacks you look at the top card of your library, and if it's a land you can put it onto the field tapped. Essentially these 3 cards are even more Boros ramp for us. You love to see it. Next up is Quietus Spike to give equipped creature Death Touch, and if that combat damage from that creature goes through, your opponent loses half their life rounded up. There is also Sunforger to give a creature +4/+0 and a chance to fetch out an instant with 4 CMC or less. Next here is Swords of Vengeance, the budget Swords of card that gives a creature First Strike, Vigilance, Trample and Haste. That is not bad at all. And there is Grappling Hook to give equipped creature Double Strike and make a target creature block it too. With 4 more equipment here, we have Moonsilver Spear to give a creature First Strike and create 4/4 angels when it attacks, and Meteoric Mace to not only give a target creature +4/+0 and trample, but also has one of my favourite mechanics in Magic, Cascade. Saving some of the best for last, we have Masterwork of Ingenuity, which ETBs as a copy of any equipment on the field. This is a 1-drop. I repeat, a 1-drop. We also have Sigardia's Aid to give all of your equipment flash, and when equipment hits the field, you can attach it to target creature you control for free. Again, saving the best 1-drops here for last. Incredible. As always before the land, we have the removal and the rest. Looking at the non-equipment loving creatures we'd like to stick equipment on, we have Rogrark, the 0-drop warrior with First Strike, Menace and Trample, and Swiftblade Vindicator, a cheap to play Boros soldier with Double Strike, Vigilance and Trample. We have Board the Weatherlight to look at the top 5 cards of your library, hopefully find a strong equipment and put it straight into your hand. We also have Open the Armory to straight up search for an equipment and pop it straight in your hand again. We have Swiftfoot Boots to protect Bruenor or whoever you desire, and Deketra's Monument to cheapen the white creature spells by 1, which in this deck is about 75% of them. The Monument also creates a 1/1 warrior token with Vigilance whenever you cast a creature spell. We have Rip Apart, a great Boros card to deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or remove some pesky artifact or enchantments, and Shatter the Sky to hopefully draw you a card, then wipe the board. There is also Slash the Ranks to wipe the board, but keep the commanders there, and if you've beefed up Bruenor, then your opponents are in trouble. We also have Austere Command to get rid of a wide choice of artifacts, enchantments, strong or weak creatures. Next is Dispatch to tap a target creature, but with that likely looking Metalcraft on the horizon, for 1 white mana we can exile it instead. And we've got a white commander staple, Swords to Plowshares, for a bit more cheap creature removal. Here we have Boros Charm, perfect for some removal or even possibly some protection from a pesky board wipe you or your opponents may have. And there's another staple in Return to Dust to hopefully remove 2 bits of artifacts or enchantments. For the last bit of removal and the rest, we have Doomscar, another board wipe option that we can foretell and keep in exile and use as an ace up the sleeve last resort card. Also, that art is so good. For the last lump before we talk about some cheeky upgrades you might want to make for this deck, we have the lands. For the basics, we're rocking 12 plains and 9 mountains, as this deck is slightly more white heavy. We have Axeguard Armory, a perfect fit for this deck as it allows you to sack it and search for an equipment card and put it into your hand, and Rogue's Passage because the aim of the game in this deck is to beef up your creatures, and it's even better if you can make those creatures unblockable. Fresh from Jumpstart, we are thriving now with Bluff and Heath to help fix that mana. We also have some Commander staple lands in Command Tower and Exotic Orchard, and even more staples in the always popular Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. Next we have Myriad Landscape to sack and get 2 lands, and Boros Garrison, the Boros Bounce land. 4 more lands now, we have Fury Calm Snarl and Lorehold Campus, the Strixhaven lands with the latter allowing you to scry, and then we have Windscarred Crag and Stone Quarry to give you some early game Boros options. If budgets aren't really your thing and you want some spicy upgrades, then of course add in all of those Swords of cards. Essentially the most powerful equipment in Magic, and it's just made for a deck like this. Grab those pro equipment lovers like Stoneforge Mystic and help search out the equipment and put it into your hand, and other strong but expensive equipments like Shadow Spear are just a perfect fit. Hammer of Nazahan is another great fit to get all of those equipments attached straight onto creatures, as is Halvar God of Battle to give equipped creatures double strike and again pop those equipment onto creatures for free. You've of course got the modal DFC option for Halvar God of Battle, and lastly, if you've got that Dockside Extortionist lying around, absolutely throw him in there. Make potentially over a dozen treasure tokens and value your way to victory. Bruenor is an absolutely incredible new commander from the upcoming D&D set, and as much as I say it all the time, this is legitimately a commander I think I'm definitely going to make a deck around when this set is released in a few weeks' time. There we have it, that is the deck tech. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for all things MTG. Check out our link tree in the description below for all of our social media and affiliate links. For now though, I'm all tapped out, so I'll see you in the next video.